Is Tottenham Hotspur, our Spurs, the most incompetent organization in world football as we speak today? We are not even 24 hours from the moment when Eberiche Eze decided to shun Spurs and join Arsenal. Now, from a Spurs standpoint, well, let's look from an Arsenal standpoint. From an Arsenal standpoint, this is absolutely like Christmas in August. Okay. Yes, Kai Havertz gets injured. He got injured in the Manchester United game, and now, I saw a video which was done prior to the announcement of Kai Havertz being announced as injured. It was with Robbie of AFTV in Turkish, and Robbie was his usual optimistic self, and Turkish was his usual pessimistic self. And both of them were talking about, what is Arsenal going to do? Is Arsenal good enough to win the title? Is Arsenal, is there still time to make a move in the transfer department? Okay. Then the announcement comes out that Kai Havertz is injured. And as an Arsenal player, we're like, what do we do now? We just re-signed Trussard to a pay raise, which means he's not going anywhere. It made me wonder what's going to happen, and then it hit. Arsenal is getting Eberiche Eze. Spurs thought they had a free run at it. They thought, and I guess the deal was that Eberiche Eze was going to play in the game, the conference, European Conference game tonight, and then join Spurs on the weekend. And it's like I've said before, and I'll say again. A deal is not a deal until the player signs on the line which is dotted. Okay? Which means for 10 days, whatever it was, Spurs had free rein. Daniel Levy could have signed him on Monday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Sunday, last Friday, last Thursday. The fact of the matter is, Daniel Levy had free rein. They could have signed Eberiche Eze to a deal that would have said, okay, yes, you can play in the game on Thursday for Crystal Palace, but then you are inclined to join us on the weekend. And the only way that doesn't happen is if we agree not to sign you. Okay? He could have done that. Okay? But he didn't. Okay? The fact of the matter is, and it's been suggested by James of Gooniverse and AFTV that maybe Arsenal was waiting. Arsenal was waiting for Tottenham to make the deal and then swoop in at the last minute. That maybe this was their plan all along. That maybe Arsenal was just playing the waiting game, waiting for Spurs to make the deal, because they knew that they would get Eberiche Eze. Eze was a player at Arsenal until he was 13 years old. He was let go from the academy. He cried for a week, but to his credit, he got back, started playing football, and now at 27, 14 years later, he's going back to Arsenal, okay, because he was an Arsenal fan. He never made any bones about being an Arsenal fan. And maybe that was what was going on, is that maybe that Arsenal was just waiting for Spurs to get the deal signed, verbal agreements, and then come in and then swoop in and take Eberiche Eze away from him. Now, the Spurs fans right now are irritated and ticked off. I just watched expressions oozing. There's a guy on Sky Sports right now. This is right from a couple hours ago, and he's talking about how irritated they are, not at the player and not at Arsenal, but at Daniel Levy. Okay, and Daniel Levy seemed to be the villain in this piece from a Tottenham standpoint. Why did you not get this done sooner? Why did we have to wait for to drag our knuckles and wait and give Arsenal the opportunity. And to be fair and this is something that James has suggested from Arsenal TV and Cooniverse, is that maybe that Tottenham was playing with a loaded deck, okay, and that there was no chance that they were ever going to sign him as long as Arsenal was swooping around. That Arsenal was going to, because he was an Arsenal fan, he wanted to play for Arsenal, that regardless of whether the deal was a verbal agreement was reached with Spurs, if Arsenal came in, that was it. And Arsenal had no chance, and Tottenham had no chance to sign him whatsoever. That's a possibility too, okay? And if that's the case, then maybe, look, from a Tottenham standpoint, you have got to be irritated. You've got to be ticked off. And you have to be angry at Daniel Levy. You have to be angry at Spurs. You have to be angry at Eze. You have to be angry at Arsenal. You have to be angry at the whole thing. Because you had Gibbs White. You played his release clause, and then he turns around and re-signs with Nottingham Forest. Okay? You have Eze, verbal agreement. Arsenal comes in, and literally, in less than 24 hours, take him away from you. And Daniel Levy is right now enemy number one from Spurs fans. They are ticked off and angry at him for not getting this deal over the line. This is a deal that should have gone over the line. And again, like James suggested, maybe Arsenal is waiting for Tottenham to agree with Crystal Palace before they swooped in. Regardless, if once the agreement was made, they should have put it in writing. They should have signed him, put him down and said, sorry, Arsenal, can't have him. He's a signed Tottenham player. He's going to play for Crystal Palace for the night, but the weekend he's already signed for Spurs. Okay, but that's not what happened. That isn't what happened. Now, again, I don't know if that's possible, but that seems the most likely suggestion that I would have suggested that Tottenham do. But regardless, you can't, a player is not your player till he signs on the line, which is not. Which means, look, he may, all of a sudden get a conscience and decide that, hey, I'm going to turn back. I'm going to re-sign for Tottenham. He can do that because he hasn't signed for Arsenal yet. Until he signs for the line that's not. But look, it looks like he's going to sign for Arsenal. It looks like a medical has been scheduled, and he's going to be an Arsenal player. And for Spurs, you have to ask your question, what the hell just happened here? Well, anyway, please click like, share, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.